Dawn hasn't broken yet, but the prop wash off a Robinson R44 is already rattling loose coffee cups on the Warner Brothers lot. Out of the cockpit swings a lank, silver-haired figure in scuffed boots. 94, 5 in the morning. And instead of settling into an executive golf cart, Clint Eastwood heads straight for a makeshift gym trailer, bangs out push-ups, then starts a circuit of pull-downs his stuntmen grumble about later. Guy's routine would bury half the crew. One grip mutters, rubbing a shoulder. An hour later, he's blocking the courtroom climax of Juror No. 2 no megaphone, no roar of action, just a soft, whenever you're ready. At lunch, he picks at salmon, rice, and fruit. Scott Eastwood swears it's the same breakfast his dad has devoured for 40-plus years, and waves off birthday cake chatter like flies. I don't do parties, he's told his kids since they were toddlers. How did a man the studios once branded too slow, too lanky, and too old become cinema's most durable myth? Why is the cowboy nobody wanted now the last director in town who still shoots feature films like hit-and-run robberies? One take, maybe two, then gone before the sun climbs high. The answers coil back through a gilded childhood. He tried to rough sand, a Navy plane crash that baptized him in shark-ridden surf, 1,000 Hollywood rejections, and a late-life rumble with loss that would cripple lesser legends. Today, we're diving into the accidents, scandals, secret daughters, vanished YouTube rants, and billion-dollar box office standoffs that forged the Eastwood enigma. Stay till the end, because the man who outpaced Father Time just might be planning his next shoot while you listen. Clint Eastwood Jr. arrived on May 31st, 1930, all 11 beefy pounds of him, earning nurses the nickname Samson. The family address boasted 2 cars, a pool, and a country club card in Piedmont, California. Yet privilege couldn't buoy his report cards. Clint flunked junior high, repeated a grade, and limped through Oakland Technical obsessed with carburetors more than calculus. The clue to another life sat in his parents' living room, a battered upright piano. He worked ragtime runs until his fingers ached, the same ruthless practice later heard in the lean jazz scores of Mystic River and Gran Torino. Then came the Navy draft. On September 30th, 1951, hitching a flight home in a single-engine bomber, Eastwood felt the cabin door buckle, communications die, and fuel vanish. The pilot ditched off Point Reyes. 21-year-old Clint paddled a raft through ice fog until surf flipped him into water thick with great white lore. 2 miles, maybe 4, later, he crawled up a remote beach, half frozen but alive. He'd later call it stark terror, the memory he mined for escape from Alcatraz's night swim. Universal signed the lanky unknown in 1955, paid him $75 a week, then binned him after 18 months. Adam's apple too big, speech too slow, tooth too chipped. Ironically, the same gawky silhouette snagged CBS exec Robert Spars's eye in a studio cafeteria. Soon, Eastwood was Rowdy Yates on Rawhide. Ratings rocketed in 3 weeks. So did the workload. 6-day weeks, 12-hour shoots in desert heat. His pay leapt from $750 to $119,000 an episode by the final season. But directors still joked you never scheduled Clint first because he'd roll in late. Rowdy made him a household name, yet bored him stiff. When an unheard-of Italian director named Sergio Leone offered next to nothing for a Spanish Western, Eastwood took the bad step his agent warned would wreck him and bought his own plane ticket. With a bleach kit, second-hand hat, and dime store cigars, Eastwood built the man with no name. Silent, stone-jawed, lethal. Italian critics jeered. U.S. reviewers called the good, the bad, and the ugly repellent. Audiences ignored them, driving the Dollars trilogy past $84 million worldwide on a shoestring budget. Suddenly, the drawl delivery and Predator squint that got him fired were Hollywood currency. But Clint had bigger revolvers to load. Frank Sinatra bailed on Dirty Harry after injuring his hand. Paul Newman passed for political reasons, then mailed the script to Eastwood, insisting it suited him. John Wayne and Steve McQueen shrugged. Clint said yes, folded his own production shingle into the deal, hired Don Siegel, and minted, "Go ahead, make my day." 2 years later, he tackled Every Which Way But Loose, fistfighting alongside an orangutan. Critics howled, audiences laughed their tickets into over $100 million. Tragedy stalked the sequel. Reports claim the stand-in orangutan, Buddha, was beaten to death after pilfering donuts. But the box office lesson stuck. Risk sells. Risk bled into his stunts. Filming the Iger-sanctioned 1975, a crew climber died. Eastwood finished the cliff scenes himself, dangling over 5,000-foot drops without modern safety nets. And when offered Superman's cape or Bond's tux, he flat out refused. His brand wasn't spandex or martinis, it was cordite and gravel. Sick of studio meddling, Eastwood founded MALPASO Productions, Spanish for Bad Step, a wink at the naysayers. Directorial debut play Misty for Me, wrapped ahead of schedule and $50,000 under budget. The $2,000 ballad he personally licensed hit #1 on Billboard. On set, he swapped bullhorns for whispers. 1 take if possible. 2, if you begged hard. Matt Damon begged once on Invictus and heard, "Why? So you can waste everyone's time." Jeff Daniels still calls Eastwood's speed terrifyingly zen. That economy drove Unforgiven, 1992, to 4 Oscars, and $1 Million Baby, 2004, to another quartet, silencing the last critics who said he was just squint and smoke. Eastwood's private life proved wilder than any screenplay. In 2018, a 64-year-old Seattle woman named Lori Murray walked a red carpet beside him. His secret daughter, adopted at birth, welcomed into the clan decades after her search began. There were 8 known children by 6 women. A 14-year affair with stunt woman Roxanne Tunis that produced daughter Kimber. A stormy decade with actress Sandra Locke, ending in dueling lawsuits. Twin offspring with flight attendant Jaslyn Reeves, whose birth certificates read, "Father declined." Family drama still flares online. Catherine Reeves's 2024 Insta-rants threaten legal action over inheritance splits. And then the unthinkable. Longtime partner Christina Sandera, the quiet Carmel hotel hostess who kept him grounded since 2014, died of a heart attack on July 18, 2024. Eastwood's statement ran a single line. Friends say the silence hid an aftershock deeper than any box office bomb. A month after Sandera's passing, a candid sit-down with Swedish host Magnus Sundholm, where Eastwood blasted cancel-happy execs, and the Nasirud Me Too overreach, dropped on YouTube, then vanished without warning. Comment threads blamed Warner Brothers for spiking bad optics as Juror No. 2 crept into limited release. The deletion saga snowballed into a free speech brawl on X and Reddit, giving the tiny theatrical rollout more buzz than any billboard. Juror No. 2 wrapped post-production in April 2024, premiered at AFI Fest that October, tiptoed into 47 theaters, and hit Max streaming December 20th. Critics called it quietly lethal, a legal knot that tightens until you can't breathe. But while Warner Brothers buried ticket tallies, insiders leaked that Eastwood was already storyboarding another project for 26. Genre unknown, budget modest, schedule brisk as ever. His daily routine hasn't wavered. Dawn workout, protein-heavy breakfast, no-nonsense set day, helicopter commute home, 9 holes of twilight golf. Grandkids now swarm Mission Ranch, and the man once branded stone cold reportedly melts when a toddler shouts, "Grandpa Clint," yet he refuses the rocking chair. Age, he says, is a question of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter. Back on that pre-dawn backlot, the helicopter blades have stilled, but Eastwood's silhouette keeps moving, checking a lens angle, trimming dialogue with a pencil stub, reminding a nervous actor, trust the first impulse. In a business addicted to safety nets, he still bets the farm on instinct. In a culture that measures worth in opening weekends, he shoots for the long memory, the late-night cable rerun that snags a new soul 40 years on. Maybe that's why his legend keeps expanding. Every time the calendar tells him to fade, he steps left, takes the bad step others fear, and finds fresh horizon. The dollar's poncho cost $15, yet still threads its way through pop memes. The one-take ethic that spooked Matt Damon has turned into Hollywood folklore, and the plane crash that almost fed him to great whites became a private forge where terror hardened into resolve. So here's your call to action. Is Clint Eastwood ageless because he outran time, or because time keeps throwing bigger challenges and he refuses to duck? Drop your theory below. And while you're at it, tell us which buried Eastwood moment, lost footage, banned interview, unmade script you'd resurrect if you could. Because if the man with no name has taught us anything, it's that the story never ends until you stop moving.